Go.
Hi everybody! Happy late St. Patrick's Day!
Happy Easter!
I'm lip balm.
Happy Easter.
He thinks it's Easter. Bye!
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
No, I go every time. We know we watching. We just go to watch a Monster Trucks.
You're going to go watch Monster Trucks?
No, we already watched it.
You already watched it? Are you going to go see if they're still on?
No, we're going to see bicycles.
You're going to go watch bicycles. Okay, tell them bye. You're going to go watch bicycles.
They're going to jump up here.
Okay, well, tell them bye.
Can they jump up here?
No, they can't jump on bicycles. Tell them bye. Yep, that's what they do. They jump. Okay, well, you need to go.
They did a backflip.
They did a backflip. All right, well, tell them bye.
I don't know.
Tell them bye.
I am toasty.
Okay.
I am toasty. Can I get my food? I don't know what to do.
Okay. Last week we went and watched the Hot Wheels, and they had motorcycles that did flips, and he's watching motorcycles on TV. So that is where he's talking about the backflips and the motorcycles. So today we are going to continue what we've been talking about with Jesus' crucifixion, and we're going to talk about the two thieves that were executed with Jesus alongside of him, side by side, same time. We do not have as much detail about them. I do not know if I'm going to say they are not beaten as severely as Jesus was, if beaten at all. I'm sure they were beaten, but not to the extremes that Jesus was. They were fully aware what was going on. So I want to look at these two thieves and the two very different viewpoints from both of them. And as we said, that we have Jesus in the middle, and we have one thief on one side and one thief on the other side. One chose to ask for forgiveness at the last minute. The other one did not. So that's what we're going to look at this afternoon. We're going to see why the thieves did what they did. And we're going to start in Luke 23 and read 39 through 43. And it says, one of the criminals who were hanged rallied at him, saying, "Are you not the Christ? Save yourself and us." But the other rebuked him, saying, "Do you not fear God, since you are under the same sentence of condemnation? As we indeed justly, for we are receiving the due reward of our deeds. But this man has done nothing wrong." And he said, "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." And he said to him, "Truly I say to you, today you will be with me in paradise." So those are the verses that we're going to concentrate on this afternoon. And as we see in here, one of the thieves said to Jesus, "Save yourself and save us." The same mocking, the same ridiculing, the same taunting that the others had done, that the Romans had done to Jesus. If you say who you say you are, save yourself. This thief said the same thing. Now, here's this thief on the cross with Jesus. They are awaiting their last breath. You would think at this moment that death would bring fear to this thief, but it did not. It's like he didn't have a care in the world. He could care less that he was about ready to take his last breath. This thief was not sorry for what he had done, and he just continued, we see in the account, until his last breath. What did he spend his last moments doing? His last words were what? Provoking Jesus. The point that I want to make of this is we cannot be like him. We cannot be like this thief. We have to be careful not to follow this same path. Are we bitter day in and day out? Are we just angry all the time? Are we taunting people? Are we ridiculing people just for the fun of it? Do we not take our own actions? Take account for our own actions. Some of us struggle. We really do with sarcasm. We struggle with ridicule. And if we don't personally, we know others who have, or maybe we've been on the other end of that sarcasm, the other end of that ridicule. And we've got to be careful that if we are that type of person, that we don't let it take over our lives. It's so easy to do. It's so easy to get into that routine, into that pattern, and just be ugly all the time and just not care. And just like this thief, the last breath he took, he was ridiculing somebody. And we don't want to be like that. I think there's 2 or 3 things I'm going to point out specifically about this man. I'm going to keep calling him the thief. I do not know his name. We are not told his name. So this is going to be thief number 1. I do not know if he was on the right or the left. It does not matter. But this thief number 1, he was angry. Why was he angry? He was angry because he got caught. He got caught being a thief, and he was punished, and he had to fulfill his punishment. He didn't escape it, and he wasn't even sorry for what he did. Are we that way? When we're in pain, when we're going through a trial, when we're going through a sickness, when we're going through a loss, and what has hit me this past few months, I guess this past year, like not just since January, but the whole year, if we go from March to March, is sometimes I think of a trial is, okay, we've had a really bad week, or we've had a really bad couple of days. That's my trial. Then I get to thinking, okay, sickness. We've all been sick this week. Flu, stomach virus, you name it, we've had it. Okay? All of us. Okay, am I bitter? And I'll be honest, I've been pretty bitter the last couple of days. I've been angry. Did I lash out on people? Yes. But that is just, this 7 days has been torture. It's been a long 7 days. We're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. But what about that sickness that goes on for months, years? A sickness that may not be able to be cured. A sickness that takes more than some antibiotics or a steroid or Tamiflu or whatever they give you when you have whatever illness you have. What if it's a sickness that takes longer than COVID? What, COVID knocked you down for a week, maybe 2, and some people are saying months after they're still having repercussions from it or symptoms from it. What about that type of sickness? Something that's not gone in a day or 2 or even a week. Do we become bitter? Do we become angry? Do we ridicule? Are we lashing out on people? That's what I think. When I always read the verses in James of, count it joy for your trials and your tribulations, I always think of short term. Short term. Like, okay, my trial is having a rough week. Or maybe I failed a test at school. Or maybe I had a bad day at work. Or maybe when I worked at the bank, maybe my drawer didn't balance right. Or maybe I didn't do a loan right. Or whatever it be, whether it be the work at the church, whatever, that trial is short. How am I when I have a trial? When I have a parent who is sick, who's not going to get better? When I have a family member that has been through a tragic accident and is not going to fully recover? The trials that last years and years and years. How am I? Am I like this thief? I've got to be careful. Because the longer our pain goes on, the longer our trials go on, the longer our sickness goes on, we tend to lash out. We tend to be like this thief, and we don't want our last words to be bitter. We have to be careful. We ought not be this way. The second thing about this thief is he was guilty, but he was too prideful to admit it. His pride got in the way. Are we prideful? Proverbs 16:18 warns us. It says, pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. What does this verse tell us? Pride goes before destruction. Pride leads to destruction. We ought not to be prideful. The third thing that this thief was, he blamed other people. This thief deserved his fate, but yet he was taking it out on an innocent man. He took it out on Jesus, didn't he? You just saved me. You saved me. It's your fault that I'm up here. It's your fault. I was caught because of you. Blah, 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 blah. Do we do that? When we are guilty, do we start blaming everyone around us? If we don't, we know people who do. Again, the workplace, church, family, friends, wherever, whatever, ball teams, wherever you're at. Well, I did it because she hit me first, or I did it because he said to do it, or I did. We do that, right? We don't take our blame. We want to blame the innocent. Again, we should not be this way. We need to admit when we are wrong and accept our punishment. The first thief reacted the way we would assume most criminals would react. Correct? They're up there. They don't want to take admission. They don't want to admit that they did was wrong. They're going to be ugly till the day they die. They're going to blame somebody else. And they're just bitter. But let's look at thief number 2. Luke 23, 40 and 41, we're going to read that again. It says, "But the other rebuked him, saying, Do you not fear God, since you are under the same sentence of condemnation? And we indeed justly, for we are receiving the due reward of our deeds. But this man has done nothing wrong." Again, this second thief is talking to this first thief, and he says, we are being justly punished. We committed a crime. We were caught. We are guilty. This is our punishment. It is just. It is right. There's nothing wrong. But yet this man in between us has done nothing wrong, and he is being killed. Now, before I give this thief all the praise, let's back up a little bit, because yes, the second thief seems the right person. He seems good. He seems not forgiven. He seems shameful, I guess. But if we back up, we're going to read Matthew and Mark. He was just like the first thief at the beginning. Matthew 27 verses 44 says, "And the robbers," not the robber, the robbers, "who were crucified with him also reviled him in the same way." Does that say just one? No. Both of them said things to Jesus, taunted him is my word. The same way. They both did it. So they were both together. Mark 15:32. "Let the Christ, the King of Israel, come down now from the cross, that we may see and believe. Those who were crucified with him also reviled him." Those who were crucified. Those, not the one, not one of them. Both. These verses tell us both were ridiculing Jesus. Both. But here's the turning point. In 40 and 41, what happened? The thief, he said he had a change of heart. He accepted the truth and asked Jesus to remember him. This is where the difference comes in. Where did we say the first one did? He took his last breath. I'm going to use my words. Down in Jesus, talking ugly, not wanting to change. What's the second one say? What does the second one say? He asked for forgiveness. This is the difference. The first one didn't want to change. Thief 2 did. He did. It took a lot of courage for this thief number 2 to ask Jesus to forgive him, but he did it. He did it. It was at the last possible moment. If he would have waited any longer, he wouldn't have been forgiven. But he knew that he admitted he did something wrong. So that's something the first thief didn't want to do. He asked for forgiveness. He asked for it. And did he do anything to receive this forgiveness? No. But Jesus gave it to him. Because what did Jesus say? Today I will see you in paradise. Today you will get it. Just like us. We do nothing to deserve the forgiveness that we are given once we are a Christian. We do nothing. We don't sign a piece of paper. We don't do X amount of things to get forgiveness. We don't do anything. But we get it anyway. Why do we get it? Because Jesus died on the cross for us to give us that forgiveness, to be like the second thief, and to get to be with Jesus for the rest of our lives. Matthew 12:37 says, "For by your words you will be justified, and by your words you will be condemned." Okay, so our words are going to do one of two things. They're going to justify us, or they're going to condemn us. Which one are your words doing? Like the thieves on the cross with Jesus, we are speaking by our words, our attitudes, and our deeds. We speak in all kinds of ways. We all know actions speak louder than words. But we speak our words, we speak with attitudes, and we speak by our deeds. What are we saying? What are our words saying? What are our attitudes saying? What are our deeds saying? Are we too proud to acknowledge our own mistakes? Remember, by our words, your words that come out of your mouth, your words, whether it be physically speaking words, your attitude, your deeds, by your words, you're either going to be justified or condemned. And that's what I want us to think about this week. How are we speaking? How are we speaking during our trials? How are we speaking during our sickness? How are we speaking during a regular work day, a good day? How are we speaking when we're at church? How are we speaking with our friends? Just to our children. That's a big one. To our children. How are we speaking to one another? That's what I want us to think about this week. I hope everyone has a great week, and I thank you all for listening, and I will see you all next week.